Okay, Saturday, May 13th, 2023. Just getting back from the gym. Went a little bit later this afternoon. Kind of overslept and I don't know, just generally dragging today. I don't know if it's like spring, change of seasons. It's great out here. The weather in Ukraine is great. It's a little slightly on the cold side, but it's warm. It's getting warm. Probably if I was running outside, this jacket would be too heavy. So I wanted to talk about my reaction to Trump on CNN, or more like Trump owning CNN. I was like, what a disaster for the Democrats. And I mean, by no means am I pro-Trump. I'm somewhere in the middle. You know, some things I agree with him on, like the border. You know, this is something, I don't know, they got to take care of. You know, we're defending Ukraine's border pretty good. You know, we're sending all the money and all the manpower and all the intelligence so they can keep border integrity. And yet the American border is being breached every day by people who don't particularly care about the country or the laws. You know, maybe I sound like that. Most of them are probably like looking for work, but they don't go through the process. Like, you know, when you enter Norway or you even enter Ukraine, you got to go through an immigration process, get a resident permit, get a tax number, pay taxes so that you're, you know, contributing to what you're using. You know, you're going to use the roads, you need to pay tax so that it can be maintained, you know, etc. And it's really to their own benefit. I mean, if you're not registered in a country, you're just going to get exploited, most likely by your own people. You know, all the people I've seen exploiting Mexicans in Chicago in construction and landscaping were other Mexicans. You know, or the same thing with like Eastern European immigrants in Philadelphia, the ones who kind of snuck over and stayed illegally. They were being exploited by their own. You know, the guy can speak English to the American, and he can speak whatever to his own people. And you know, there's like this language dependency, and they don't have services. They can't go to the police. So it's not cool. Illegal immigration is not cool. It's not humanitarian. It's you know, there should be a wall, and in that wall there should be some checkpoints. You know, so yeah, that's one of my views. You know, but yeah, I don't know. It's like you know, when you watch Trump, you know, he does bring out some inner American in you. You know, about loving your country, the patriotism. You know, wanting to do good for America. I can understand why, you know, his poll numbers are going up. You know, he knows how to play on the people and everything. And the only thing that the liberals can do is complain. Anderson Cooper whining and all this kind of thing, and AOC whining. What they really need to do is they need to change their platform a little bit. You know, the Democrats, if you want to win this election, you really need to change a few things. Number one is like this thing we're talking about, the border. You know, start loving America a little bit and start standing up for your own country, not like making us apologize. I mean, if America's not there, the Chinese and Russians are going to step in, and there ain't going to be any gay rights or self-expression or mental health days or whatever else that you believe in. You know, that's all going to be gone. It's just going to be gulags and, you know, work camps and do what you're told and disappearing in the middle of the night kind of stuff. You know, so I mean, really, you know, get with it, Democrats. You know, wake the hell up. You know, so I don't know if Joe Biden or the Democrats or, you know, I don't know, this RFK Jr., he's definitely not his father or his uncle. He's even worse than Biden when it comes to speaking skills. But I don't know, whoever can be the front runner in the Democrats, you know, take a tough stance on the border. That might solidify the position a little bit better. You'll get the moderates like myself on your side for sure. You know, right now I'm wavering. You know, I mean, if there's Ron DeSantis or, you know, Vivek Ramaswamy somehow gets through, you know, I mean, my cards are still on the table. I haven't, or close to my chest. I haven't played my hand yet. But so, take a stand on this border. You know, Bill Clinton was like pro border wall. You know, JFK never would have stood for this. You know, he was like very much, what can you do for America? And he loved America. You know, and The second thing the Democrats got to do is like stop with this woke shit. You saw what happened to Budweiser, and having all this woke agenda in the schools. I can see the thing about protecting minorities and protecting people who don't have a voice for themselves, but ramming it down people's throats and making every second Netflix show. I canceled Netflix. It just made me want to vomit. You gotta put check this. I'm for like protecting minorities. That's part of what the Constitution in the U.S. is all about, and making people aware that there are differences in people and not everybody fits the mold. But by no means do they get to become the mainstream, and ram it down everybody's throats. Come on. Still 95% of the people in the country are traditional mindset, and traditional biology and everything. So it has to be put in context. By no means there should be discrimination or hate or any of this, but when it goes the other way, it just actually creates that. It puts people on the defensive, puts them on the back foot, and pushes them underground. It's like here in Ukraine, right? America could learn a lot from Ukraine. Here, it's not woke, and it's not right-wing either. It's like really nobody cares. There's gay people here, and there's straight people here, and nobody is really pushing on each other. You don't have like Christian fundamentalists ramming their agenda. That's what the right side does. They ram their agenda a little bit too much too. Kind of everyone is just coexisting and keeping to themselves. Nobody is in other people's businesses. Nobody is ramming stuff down anyone's throat or trying to like I say, have this woke beer thing with Budweiser. It doesn't happen here. Everything is kind of chill. It's like that in Norway too. Norway is probably the most liberal place. Sweden is the most liberal place, but I don't see agendas being rammed down people's throats like they are in America. It's like so crazy what they do in America, what I'm hearing about. So I don't know. The Democrats have to fix that, or they're going to start a civil war, and then the Chinese and Russians will definitely win, and there's definitely going to be no woke beer and woke lessons in school. It's just going to be gulags and camps, like North Korea style, if you stick out a little bit. So I think there's, plenty of tolerance in Western countries already, even since the Clinton era. It's just fine. There's plenty of job opportunities and plenty of ways to get rich. Look at half the stars in Hollywood, right? Fine. So it's something the Democrats need to fix, or they're going to lose the election. Whatever Trump is, lying and whatever, he does it well, and it sounds good, it sounds convincing. I'm just giving an objective point of view here. He had that audience charged, and you can even feel it. He's electrifying when he talks. Compared to Biden and all these Democrats and stuff. There's nothing wrong with being non-charismatic, but then you better really have a good story. You better really have a good platform and really be able to make really good decisions. If you lack charisma. But so I guess the third thing kind of ties these two things up. Start being patriotic and loving America and all this kind of thing. America is the only country really supporting Ukraine. They're 90% of the Britain too, to some degree, but America is still 90% of the support, 100% of the intelligence. The weapons are working really good. Ukraine is getting like a pittance for weapons, but whatever they get, they somehow really managed to get like 180% utilization out of it. They got like one Black Hawk helicopter, and they're just tearing up the Russians with that, whatever they can. Way beyond punching way above their weight. And that is American training, American values being transplanted, being exported. So if you Democrats and you liberals are going to sit there and tear apart America and everything, the whole world is going to fall. Europe is not up to task to take on Russia. They cannot pull together. I mean, you got the Hungarians selling out, the Germans are wishy-washy, the Swiss are still doing this neutrality thing. You know, they're not up to task here. It's really, America is the only truly plausible force of good out there. You know, it's if you want to put it another way, in a liberal way, it's the least worst choice. So we got to make the best of it. We've got to fly our flag. You know, we got to be proud. You know, this critical race theory stuff, all this BS has to put in context. You know, I was in Dubai, right? If you want to talk about critical race theory, slavery, and reparations, they need some of that over there. You ought to see how they treat workers over there. They take away their passports, lock them up into camps. There's like 50 people, get only one toilet. I mean, I saw it even with my own eyes, all these Indian workers. They just look in a horrid condition. You know, their clothes are just beat up and they're tired and they're just sleeping in the grass and everything. I mean, it's still going on. Slavery's still going on in the Middle East, still going on in Africa. You know, so why don't they teach that in the school? Why don't they show there's some nice YouTube videos where they snuck into these construction sites and, you know, talk to those workers and everything, you know, and they haven't even been able to go home in 3 years because the company holds their passports hostage. And then, you know, they earn this money and then they got to pay it back because they did something wrong, and they create these fictitious fines and things, so they're just always constantly broke. You know, it's like you know, most of them come from India and Pakistan and they're tricked. You know, why isn't this taught in CRT? You know, Black America, you know, if they have it good, you know, I mean, there's, if you're smart, you can get a, you know, scholarship to study engineering full ride. ROTC scholarships have the quotas, medical school has the quotas. All you have to do is just work for it a little bit. You know, it's not like Norway where you just go on this nav and, you know, just take money, you know. And yeah, that's another thing, like left, you can't be so triggered. You know, we're at war with really truly evil here with the Russians, you know. You can't be so triggered and sensitive like people in Norway and Sweden. You know, you got all these like beta males now and they get triggered and, you know, set off. They can't even reason. They just hear the word Trump and they can't talk about anything. Trump, 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 Trump. You know, it's like, get over it, get out of this, or, you know, the whole world is going to be, you're not going to survive, I'll tell you that. You know, we are got to get real. We need weapons, we need firepower, and to make all that work, we need an ideology behind it. We're the Americans, we're the best, we're going to, you know, kick some Russian ass, you know, blow up Iran, you know, send North Korea back to the Stone Age. That's the kind of way that the Western leaders need to be talking, you know, because that's the only way that those people will respond, you know, and, you know, the only way that, you know, we can get our way with them. So, anyway, yeah, so I mean, yeah, Democrats, you gotta fix that or you're gonna lose, you know. And I would vote for Clinton, JFK kind of Democrats, you know, both patriotic and progressive. I want both. I want progressive ideas, progressive thinking, but I want the patriotism to go with it. They don't have to be two separate things. We can have it together. And it used to be that way. You know, both parties used to be extremely patriotic, just one was more pro-business and the other was more like pro-worker. You know, and now it's like one side is like pro-corporation, pro-America, and the other is like anti-American, you know, and, you know, they are even, like the Democrats are even still pro-corporation, but anti-reason, anti-common sense. So, wake up, Democrats, wake up, you know. And if I were Ukrainians, I would be writing the Democrats or Zelensky. I would be coaching the American Democratic leaders on the importance of patriotism and loving the country. Well, then they could probably get a good solid 55-60%, get the moderates over on their side. Because that's mostly what the moderates, you know, that's the only thing lacking on the Democrat side is the patriotism and the border. You know, if they put that on the agenda, they can steal quite a bit from the Republicans, you know. if they can just do those two things, I mean, and get rid of this woke stuff. But I mean, even to some degree, the border would be enough. The border and just saying that you care about the country, I think would be enough to get a few percents and secure the vote. Let's see what happens. It's just crazy. It's just really crazy what Joe Biden is doing. It's good what he's doing for Ukraine, but if he keeps doing good for Ukraine and screwing over America and screwing over American people and screwing over our values and everything, then the Russians are going to win, because for them they just have to hang in there until an administration changes, and that's not good. I mean, they've got enough warm bodies they got more warm bodies than we have given the ammunition. They have millions of people, and we've given tens of thousands of artillery rounds and maybe hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition. So that's the calculus. That's the calculus. And Democrats, get with it. Ukrainians, coach these American Democrats that loving America is like essential to survival. Because if the Democrats don't win, Ukrainians, this has all been for nothing. I mean, Trump has made it pretty clear where he stands. And like I said, if you want to get the people in the middle like myself, I mean, I'm going to vote Democrat. I live in Ukraine, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people like me not living in Ukraine. And we need to be convinced that our candidate loves their country, and our candidate is not going to let this illegal immigration situation run out of control. It's really out of control. It's insanity. And they've got to, if they can just do that, be more like Bill Clinton, be more like JFK, which were really great Democrats, or even FDR, then it's all going to be one, then everything will be okay. But if not, if they go down this route, your defense is coming at the expense of our prosperity, and it's not gonna end well. We want this to end well. We want Ukraine to win, and the way Ukraine wins is that they have the right people in America on their side. So tell these Democrats to wake the hell up. No more woke beer and woke agenda in the schools. No more of this nonsense at the border. Maybe they should even propose the U.S. invade a good part of Mexico so we have a buffer. Maybe we have like a no man's land where people can wait for their asylum cases. We just have that like some waiting room, America's waiting room or something, like 1 or 2 U.S. miles into Mexico. We have a buffer zone and put up container houses, and people can just stay there until their cases are cleared, until they've been heard and background checked, got a social security number, and then they can cross the line. I mean, coach the Americans a bit, because there's a symbiosis here. The destinies are intertwined. But anyway, that's all I got today. Take care.